Good evening, and I'd like to call this meeting to order. It's our regular meeting of November 18th, and it's 7:01. Adoption of the agenda.
Moved by Harold Levine, second by Maureen McMillan. Be it resolved that Council for the Township of Killaloe, Haggerty, and Richards hereby adopts the agenda for the regular council meeting of November 18th, 2025 as presented.
And all those in favor? Carried. And now I'd like to read the First Nations land acknowledgement. As we gather today, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of this committee and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. And we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. And please join me in a moment of silent reflection. And thank you. My mayor's address. It's very short and sweet this week. I attended 2 county council meetings on behalf of our municipality. November 5th, there was a special corporate service meeting. And on November 12th, we had our county council meeting with committees of health, community services, and corporate services. And does anyone have any pecuniary or financial interest to declare? Oh. And may we hear that declaration then?
I, Maureen McMillan, declare conflict of interest in regards to the art gallery of the Ottawa Valley proposal.
All those in favor? Carried. And now I'd like to call up Anya.
Putting it to the first stuff. Oh, great. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mayor Mayville. My name's Anya Gansterer, and I'm the Artistic Director for Ottawa Valley Community Arts. And in this presentation, oh, I guess the slides are not individual, eh? Oh, okay, that's all right. We'll be fine. So in this presentation, I'd like to bring you up to date on what's been happening with the Art Gallery of the Ottawa Valley and how Killaloe, Haggerty, and Richards can become the first Art Gallery of the Ottawa Valley location. And I think you all have a summary document that you will have received, or yeah, okay, great. So this is all in your document. So first, I'll just tell you a little bit about Ottawa Valley Community Arts. We're a not-for-profit organization that was founded in 2011. And so far, we've coordinated and implemented over 30 grant-funded projects with a value of over $1 million going right back into our local economy. We've reached over 50,000 people in 20 communities across the Ottawa Valley and have hosted over 100 workshops, events, performances, and exhibits. So how have we achieved all of this? Well, our mandate is to promote the integration of arts into the lives of individuals, families, and communities across the Ottawa Valley. We work in partnership with local cultural, municipal, and service organizations to bring people together to explore our collective stories and creative possibilities, and co-create workshops and projects designed to enhance creativity, personal growth, and community well-being. And as many of you may already know, we have longstanding partnerships and relationships with organizations here in Killaloe, as we are based in Killaloe as well. And we've worked with the CRC and the CELCs and the libraries and the schools. A lot of artwork around this building is through our programming. Okay, so what have we learned? Over the past 15 years, we've learned a lot about the role of arts in our communities. Between 2018 and 2023, we ran the Pop-Up Art Program. We designed and built and populated mini art galleries embedded into existing community spaces, such as hospitals, coffee shops, recreation centers, and visitor centers. And we also curated exhibitions and events that traveled through the galleries to share our stories here from our rural communities. And we also designed interactive engagement activities to collect evaluation data to help us understand the impact of having art in our communities. And as a result, we've learned that public art increases resilience and community connection. It creates art-powered economic growth, and it supports homegrown creative talent. So as an organization, our main focus is, in fact, community arts. But we've also identified 2 other areas of focus that are crucial to the health of our organization and the larger Ottawa Valley arts ecosystem. And those 2 areas are professional support for artists and creative people and building public arts infrastructure. And so to address those 2 areas, we in 2023, after the pop-up art project was finished, we used all of these learnings to apply for a grant from the Canada Council for the Arts to create a business plan, which looks like this. I can leave a copy if anybody's interested. A business plan for the Art Gallery of the Ottawa Valley. And so I would like all of us just to take a moment now to imagine that we are in an Ottawa Valley forest of trees. And think about their roots in the ground, their strong trunks, and their outstretched branches. And this is how we envision the Art Gallery of the Ottawa Valley to be. Rooted in land and community, connected across the valley, reciprocal, nurturing to participants, partners, and communities, and taking the time it needs to grow organically using the resources available. And so I'll share the vision statement with you. We envision a system of interconnected galleries and programming spaces across the watershed of what is now known as the Ottawa Valley in the unceded, unsurrendered ancestral territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe peoples. The AGOV will nurture artists, creative people, and communities by providing accessible, welcoming, and inclusive space for artistic growth, economic growth, and collective community well-being. We envision a future where all residents of the Ottawa Valley can access art within a 30-minute drive from their home. Okay. And so this foundation that trees hold, we envision that the Art Gallery of the Ottawa Valley as a centrally managed network of satellite gallery spaces integrated into existing public infrastructure across the Ottawa Valley. These spaces will be both indoor and outdoor and can range in scale to accommodate the host facility. The AGOV will also include a catalog of programming spaces, existing public spaces that can be adapted for workshops and programming. And the outdoor spaces may include art installations in public areas like parks, trails, and can be permanent or temporary. And of course, it'll all be available online. And Killaloe can be the first AGOV location. Okay, so I'd like to, yes, the first slide, I don't know if we can see it very well from here, but I'd like to zoom out a bit, looking at the economic impact, starting with federally in Canada. We know that $63.2 billion is the GDP for culture federally across the whole country. And of that, 26 billion comes from Ontario. And just recently, thanks to an Ontario Arts Council study and report, they've developed mechanisms to understand the impact more regionally within Ontario. And so we now know that $2.7 billion is the contribution from Eastern Ontario, which does include us, but it also includes Ottawa and Kingston. So what we don't currently know is what is the GDP contribution of Renfrew County, and more specifically here in Killaloe. We don't currently have a way to understand it. We do know that there are a lot, and I would even go so far as more artists and creative people here in our part of the county working away and contributing. And so the question is, how can we find out, how can we better understand that contribution to our economy and to community well-being? And so having the Art Gallery of the Ottawa Valley as a whole, and then specifically having a location here in Killaloe, will have a mechanism and a way of understanding and fostering and supporting the growth here in our own community. So more specifically, what would the impacts of having an AGOV gallery location be in Killaloe? So we know through our own evaluation practices and the findings of other cultural institutions that, that access to public art increases resilience and connection in our communities. So some examples are that having a space to tell our stories to each other and visitors will help to boost local pride and feelings of belonging. Will deepen our connection with each other cross-culturally and intergenerationally and increase volunteer opportunities. It will further our community well-being and social inclusion goals. The AGOV will have a strong positive impact on Killaloe Haggerty Richards tourism and economic growth by creating another reason to visit Killaloe and spend money at local businesses. We know that public art is attractive to potential new residents. And we know that we can leverage investment to generate further income, such as grants, donations, private foundations, and sponsorships. And we know that public art creates cultural touchstones to anchor marketing campaigns and connect into the bigger tourism picture. And the AGOV will support homegrown creative talent by providing professional opportunities for local artists within their own communities. As it is right now, we don't have, if you're an artist, there are very few opportunities to build up your professional resume by having exhibitions. You've got to travel to another community, or we want to create spaces here in our own community for artists to practice. And we also want to build career pathways for young and emerging artists. So we want young people to see that, yes, they can make a living in the arts here, and we want that to be an example for them. And it also supports other local creative industries, such as printers, graphic designers, people that create merchandise, etc. So if we can see that, you can maybe see it better in your handouts. What we're proposing is that we build a art gallery right outside here. So just this wall right here, that's in between the bathroom and the entrance here. So it would be a 7 by 9 foot gallery wall installed into the foyer. And it would include gallery signage. It would include the curation and installation of one exhibit celebrating historic and contemporary Killaloe artists. Killaloe area artists, I should say. Ongoing monitoring and upkeep of the gallery and ongoing gallery promotion. And so this would be a $5,000 investment to do this. And we also know through the the Ontario Arts Council that a recent study that they've just completed, they've figured out that for every dollar they invest into public arts, there's a return of $25 directly back into the community. So a $5,000 investment ends up equaling up to $125,000 back into the surrounding community. And so how can we work together to move forward? I have a proposed timeline that's also in your package that we can review, or we can just have some questions and conversation.
Hi, Anya. Thank you for that presentation. Can you tell us exactly what the ask is of council?
So we're asking for the funds to be able to construct the physical gallery. That
Okay.
would be here.
Okay.
And also the construction of the physical gallery and also the implementing the curating of the exhibit.
Do you envision this as a one-time investment or an ongoing annual investment?
So the construction would be a one-time investment, and same with the initial exhibition that would be created. And then going forward, if we want to change the exhibit or do any kind of animation of the gallery, then we could renegotiate it on an annual basis.
Thank you.
Brian?
Yeah, so Bill asked a question about funding. So what was the amount? You said
So it's 5,000 is the
5,000.
cost. Yeah.
Carl? Ted? Harold? That was a good presentation.
Thank you.
I think it's a great idea. I think it would really enhance our image and make it known that we are involved in arts, and especially you being from Killaloe, I think we have to do this. You know, after your presentation at the county, all I could think about coming home on the drive was, how can we tie you into Pathway Park? And that's something for the future. And
Absolutely.
okay. Let's pause here for a moment, okay? Okay, as I was saying, I think this is a great idea, and council, I'm going to ask you a question. Would you be interested in supporting this and to implement this into our budget of 2026? Show of hands, please. Oh, sure.
Carl, can you put your mic on?
How would this potentially show us $125,000 revenue generation from this in our own?
So it's not a direct revenue generation back into the township, like the town council here. It's a projection that says, you know, if people are coming to see the exhibit, they'll then, you know, go and spend money in the town. Also by investing in our organization, it means that we can also then leverage that money on another grant application, for example, that we can say, okay, we have an investment from Killaloe Haggerty Richards. You know, we can apply for then another $20,000 to do more art, public art installation work. And we couldn't have done that if we didn't have that initial investment of 5,000. So there's lots of different ways that calculation would play out.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Brian, did you have something?
Yeah, so the proposed timeline, so that means the $5,000 you need pretty much immediately. It says November, December.
Well, this is not set in stone at all. We can negotiate what works for both parties. But I was envisioning that November, December, we would come up with our contract and agree to what we wanted to do. And then assuming that the contractors are available, we could start the construction in the early new year.
I think it might be a good idea. I kind of agree with it. I think it's great for the community, but I'm just wondering about funding, yeah, like if we'd be in this budget or next,
Right.
which would be
It's a-
after January.
The proposal that I'm going to make is for 2026 budget. So anytime after January the 1st, if everyone agrees, we can take care of the business. Is everybody okay with that? Can I see a show of hands, please? Good. Perfect. And I do have one question after the fact. Who will monitor what goes in the casing or like in gets showcased?
Yeah, so we will. So
Okay.
or myself, and it depends on what, like for this first exhibition, I imagine it will be, because it'll be a combination of historic and contemporary artists, we'll probably, well, it depends. We'll have to decide. It could be a jury situation where artists apply to be part of it, or we might select some artists based on their kind of historic contribution to arts and culture in the area. So there's a few different ways that we can go about it, but it'll all come filter through us as an organization.
Good, because basically this is your bread and butter. This is your baby. So,
Yes. Yeah.
okay, great. Well, thank you very much. Pleasure doing business with you.
Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome to stay, Anya, if you'd like to watch the rest of the meeting. Thank you. Okay, minutes of the previous meetings, November 4th and October 14th.
Moved by Carl Peel, second by Harold Levine. Motion to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting of November 4th, 2025, open and closed sessions. Understanding closed minutes remain confidential.
All those in favor? Carried.
Motion to approve the minutes of the committee of the whole meeting of October the 14th, 2025, open and closed session. Understanding closed minutes remain confidential.
Questions, discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Any questions in regards to the meetings coming up? I just have two. November 24th is the MMAH at 7 o'clock. Everyone's got that on their calendar. And also December 2nd, Committee of Adjustment at 6:30. Harold? December 2nd, you got that on your calendar?
Yeah. And we talked about 6:30?
6:30, yeah. A lot of paper to sign tonight, sorry. Okay, examining the accounts. Any questions?
What? 27760.
Next page. Halfway down.
It's for the roads department for a crimper.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Carl?
27772.
Cunningham and Swan, our integrity commissioner and closed meeting investigator. That's a bunch of invoices together.
Brian, any, Bill?
Just not a clarification on this, but can you at a future meeting, provide us with a breakdown of the costs of Cunningham Swan by incident?
Okay.
Committee reports. Councilor McMillan, would you like to go first? Nobody go first? Okay. So we had, November 11th, we had a committee of the whole. And just to give everyone an update, the first thing we discussed was the 2026 budget. And so these are targets that we're proposing. And so last year we issued a 3% tax increase. We issued a 3% wage increase to everyone. Our total expenses comparatively, 2024 were $6,578,715. And 2025, our budget came in at $6,643,409, which amounted to a 1% increase. The result was our tax revenue went up 3.2%, and our overall revenue went up less than 1%. In addition, we took out $446,314 from reserves to balance the budget. Having said that, our targets for this coming year, and again, they're targets, are going to be a 2.5% tax increase, a 3% wage increase, and a departmental total line, a maximum of 3% per department. Anything over that 3% will need discussion and justification. And our total increase, the target is 1% overall. So these are tough guidelines, tough targets, but we're hopeful that we can make them. So we'll see where we go. So as of this time, we will try to implement that I present the budget to council by February the 1st. There are some things that I'm not really happy with on as far as the scheduling, and that is a big gap will be in comparison with our budgeted dollars of last year, they will not be complete. So it won't show a December year to date. It'll show a November year to date as a comparison, which we're going to have a discussion about that in the future, but I'm just not sure if it's going to be realistic. So that's still up in the air. But as of right now, we're going to try to reach the February the 1st to present to council. And the weeks of January 12th and 19th, we'll try to review that with staff and CEO, and then we'll go from there. And hopefully, I'd like to set up a meeting this Thursday or Friday, Tammy, with yourself and staff to talk about the budget timelines and the targets, just so everyone's on the same page. So that was the discussion in regards to the budget. In regards to discussion we had as far as council composition and the ward system. When I announced at our committee of the whole meeting last week that I would be bringing forward 2 bylaws for council's consideration, one to reduce councillors from 6 to 4 and one to eliminate the ward system. Some reactions at this table were emotional. Comments such as, why would you do that? We already talked about this and you know how the vote will go. In my mind, it illustrates a misunderstanding of the process required by provincial law. Bringing forward a bylaw is not a political game or a surprise tactic. It is the lawful and appropriate first step in allowing council and the public to fully discuss and consider an issue. Informal discussions or perceived compromises made in conversation do not replace the legislative process. The mayor's responsibility under Section 284.6 of the Municipal Act is to bring bylaws forward for council's consideration. Council's responsibility under Section 224 of the Municipal Act is to debate, to listen, and to decide. Suggesting that a vote is predetermined or that discussing a bylaw is somehow improper misunderstands both roles. and so to continue. A public meeting will be held on December 9th at 7 o'clock. Site to be determined whether it's in council chambers or at a Lions Club. This meeting will give residents the chance to ask questions, share their views, and provide feedback on two important proposals. First, reducing the size of council from 6 members to 4, and second, moving from our current ward system to an at-large system. Your input at that meeting will help guide council's discussion, and decision. In the meantime, I encourage residents to contact the township office with any thoughts or questions about these possible changes. Your feedback now is welcome and appreciated. At our December 16th regular council meeting, I will be bringing forward the 2 bylaws for council's consideration and vote. We are bringing these bylaws forward because December is council's final opportunity to make any changes in time for the 2026 municipal election. If no decision is made this year, the only remaining option would be a referendum during the 2026 election. And even if residents strongly support a change, it would not take effect until 2030. These proposals are supported by several clear factual considerations. KHR has one of the smallest populations, but one of the largest councils in rural Ontario. Our ward boundaries are no longer reflect council's representation, as councillors do not necessarily live in the wards they represent. At-large systems are common in municipalities similar in size to ours. A smaller council can improve efficiency, accountability, and decision-making. Eliminating wards helps councillors focus on the township as a whole. And importantly, no change can take effect for 2026 unless council acts in December. These are matters for council to decide. My role is to bring the bylaws forward and ensure residents are heard. Council's role is to consider the input, debate the options, and make a decision. This is exactly the process we are following. If the bylaws pass on December 16th, the bylaws are signed by the mayor and clerk. The clerk provides the required public notice. A 45-day appeal period begins. If no appeal is filed, the bylaws take effect automatically. If an appeal is filed, the Ontario Land Tribunal will issue a final decision. Once final, the changes apply to the 2026 election, and the township avoids the cost and uncertainty of a referendum. If the bylaw does not pass, no changes can take place for 2026. The current structure, 6 councillors elected by ward, remains in place until at least 2030. A referendum in 2026 becomes the only remaining method. Referendums in rural municipalities can be costly, and even a strong public result cannot take effect until the following term. To ensure residents are fully informed about the public meeting and the issues being voted on, we will be using a variety of communication channels, including community associations, local service groups, local newspapers, social media, and the township website. This is not about predicting how any individual councillor may vote. This is about respecting the legislative process, giving the public a meaningful voice, and making a timely decision for the future of our community. These issues have been discussed several times over the past 3 years, and none of this should come as a surprise. Councillors should already be well aware of how their wards and the residents who live in them view these matters. Now it's time for council to hear from the residents once again over the next 4 weeks and make a decision in the best interest of the township. You're up next.
Okay, I have our OPP Detachment Board report. So yesterday we had a meeting. We had Stefan Neufeld, the detachment commander for the Upper Ottawa Valley. And you have a report in here with like the recent statistics. Everybody has a copy of that, so you can go over that. I'm not gonna talk too much about that, but I thought this is the interesting stuff. So for 2026, their provincial priorities, and those will be the priorities for this area as well. The number 1 is going to be that this is going to be the year of the ticket. They realize that traffic accidents are up from there's high fatalities from speeding, distracted driving, people not wearing seatbelts and impaired driving, and also commercial vehicle operators who are sometimes driving without licenses or driving for way too long. So there's going to be an emphasis on that. So that should make everybody here very happy. They're going to use data to make sure that they have extra officers out during peak periods. So people are there at the right time, the right place. There's going to be 2 officers dedicated to an offender management apprehension program, or OMAP. So this will be enforcement of high-risk offenders, people on bail or on parole, to help protect the public. And then number 4 is just using much more data, which, you know, may result in less fees for us, you know, hopefully. And developing future leaders is number 5. So yeah, that was kind of the big thing. We did talk a little bit about the black box program. So I have Doug Buckwald was kind enough. He did a little bit of extra research on it. So I will make copies of this. I just got it last night and today was a very busy day, but I'll make copies of it and bring it to our December meeting so we can have a discussion about that. So, and talk about the pros and cons of both of the different speed systems. And I think the other big thing is that there will be 2 positions going to be advertised for community representatives. So if anybody in our community is interested, there will be some ads going into the Valley Gazette and the Eganville Leader respectively. So watch out for those. You can join us.
Well, thank you. And that was your first meeting?
No, this was our second meeting.
Okay. Was there any discussion on the potential 11% increase?
A little bit, but there's nothing definitive. Yes.
That's a typical board answer.
Yeah.
Now, I think council received a survey. I think Tammy issued that to everyone in council for the OPP and what services are what we think will be required. I hope everyone filled that out because it was, hopefully it goes some. For those that took the time, thank you. So I know we're going to talk about this later about the black box. Are you going to also talk about the potential or the comparison between that black box and what we have budgeted already for Dean's signage?
I think the big thing that we were interested in was the showing of the speed, right, on the signs. That was the big difference. So yeah, bring all that information forward and we can talk about the pros. I actually talked to the sergeant about pros and cons of each. So I'll bring that information forward at our next meeting.
Great. Well, thank you. That's good. Okay, correspondence. There's a slew of it. Okay. The County of Renfrew in regards to projects. Renfrew County District Health Unit. The first local influenza case. Municipality of Wawa, rent protection for tenants. Enterprise Renfrew County, upcoming webinars. Donna Lynch, letter to the mayor and council members, CEO, KHR staff, and community members. Tammy, would you like to read that out loud?
Dear Honorable Mayor, Council Members, CAO, KHR staff, and community members. Thank you for reading my previous letter at the last council meeting of November 4th, 2025. I would like this letter to be read aloud at the next council meeting, November 18th, 2025 as well, as I wonder, Councillor Smith, where we can get a copy of the lawyer's letter that you invited us to read. This letter is in response in part to comments made by Councillor Maureen McMillan after said letter was read. I do thank Councillor McMillan, Ward 2 representative, for responding to the letter from a Ward 1 member. Yes, you did answer some of the questions posted, but not all, and it would have been nice to get the other councillors' thoughts on them as well. I think we may have to rein ourselves to the fact that they may be answered behind some political speak and not transparency. The content of the second letter written and sent changed from the first because apparently there's a protocol in writing letters to council. Who knew? So there really was no need to be snarky about it. Thank you, Ms. Goujon, for pointing out my error and letting me revise. And as for talking to the mayor after the meeting, I guess you overlooked the two ladies I was talking to before you exited the building. To be clear, the mayor had no input whatsoever in either of the letters I wrote and for you to suggest otherwise, shame on you. I didn't realize that there was a bylaw stating that members of this township couldn't talk to the mayor. So many bylaws, so little time. As for the unpaid taxes, are we allowed to know what actions the current council has taken to try to rectify this? Or is that part of the behind closed doors decisions not to be discussed in public? The issue of the ward system and councillors is obviously concerning for taxpayers. That's why it's brought up so often. And as to your email, there was no vote on this topic. It was discussed, deferred, and the staff was supposed to have been asked to prepare a report with additional information. Contrary to the popular opinion, unfortunately, it is this council's decision to change these systems, not the constituents. You stated we would be amazed at how many want the 6 councillors in the ward system. I think you would be equally amazed how many don't, apparently yourself included, and up until a few months ago, Councillor Brown. Yes, it is a difficult decision to make, but you can't make the hard decisions. What are you there for? But if you can't make the hard decisions, what are you there for? You bluster about the mayor misrepresenting facts and changing his mind. You were doing the same with the issue. I ask you, Councillor Brown, did you discuss your flip-flop with the people you represent, and why is no one badgering you about changing your mind? Councillor McMillan, you asked your co-worker who I was and then asked if I was a troublemaker. My response to this is I can be if I have to. It seems to me from some of the comments made from the other councillors at the other meetings that our previous mayor had strong mayor powers before it was even a thing. Don't be lulled into thinking that people are not paying attention. They are, even though they don't express it like others do. Everyone has a right to express their opinion, but council has no right to be disrespectful of the seat that they are sitting in and the people they represent or each other. Sincerely, Donna Lynch.
Okay, so I do want to respond to this one. So Don, I will apologize. I'm human and I obviously made an error, and Donna's sitting here, which is why I'm looking at her right now. I don't think I asked if you were a troublemaker. I'm not sure where that came from because I certainly don't remember that. Respectfully, if you are, good for you. I hope I have too, and I'm older. I just want you to know. Well, sorry. No, I didn't mean it like that. What? Anyway, I think it's good to be a rebel. I think it's good to be a rebel rouser, is all I'm saying. I just need you to know in the past few months sitting here at this table, this is an absolutely toxic environment for all of us sitting here. There is a level of paranoia for all of us that's been brought on by things that have happened. We've been recorded. We had somebody in here who pointed at all of us and accused us of following the mayor home. You know, this is not a nice environment to work in. And I think the level of paranoia has come off on us. And so, you know what? I don't trust our head of council. I just don't. And so when I see him, you know, having these conversations and then I see a letter come in, that's where my head went. And I apologize for that, and it shouldn't have. And I will try to do better. So I did take the time. It took me about an hour and a half to respond to your letter. And I did think of everybody else at this table and how they would have responded. And I am truthful and I am honest with people. I would welcome a conversation with you anytime. If you want to sit down and have a tea, I'll happily take you out. But this is just a really toxic environment right now, and emotions are high. I go home, I can't sleep at night, you know, due to some of these things. I know we're all feeling it. I think we're going through a slew of emotions. We've been through anger, we're sad, we're disheartened, and I'm sure we're all feeling a little paranoid at things. We can't speak openly and honestly without worrying, you know, things are going to be escalated or taken to a different place. So it's not a nice time for us sitting here, and we're human. And this is a human relationship here that we're having with each other. And it's not always, you know, it's just not good right now. And I don't know how to fix it. So I'm sorry.
And I did send you the full text to that letter. Yeah, you have it in your email.
Town of Deep River. Resolution for support for the future use and deployment of Canadian nuclear energy. Eorn. Steve and Kim Grayfill. Kicklia, Canada. And there's two back to back. Honorable Rob Flack. Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, letter in regards to Fighting Delays Building Faster Act 2025. The newsletter from AORS. And the County of Renfrew nominations for the 2026 County of Renfrew Warden. And there's two candidates. I should say who they are, shouldn't I? Michael Donahue from Township of Adamston Bromley and Jennifer Murphy from the Township of Bon Cheer Valley. And now we'll move on to bylaw. It's up to you, Tammy.
Moved by Harold Levine, second by Maureen McMillan, that bylaw number 44, 2025, being a bylaw to appoint a building inspector for the corporation of the Township of Killu, Haggerty, and Richards, be given its first, second, and third reading and finally passed this 18th day of November 2025.
Questions? All those in favor? Carried.
Moved by Bill Smith, second by Harold Levine, that bylaw number 45, 2025, being a bylaw to appoint municipal bylaw officers and property standard officers for the corporation of the Township of Killu, Haggerty, and Richards, be given its first, second, and third reading and finally passed this 18th day of November 2025.
Questions, discussion? All those in favor? Carried. And unfinished business. There's a resolution.
So first of all, I'm seeking direction from council regarding the mayoral decision 1 and mayoral directive numbers, or sorry, mayoral directive 7. I'm just looking to see what council's wanting to do. Do you want to send both the decision and directive to Airden Burles for an opinion, or as discussed at the November 4th meeting, just a mayoral decision?
I thought Directive 7 was deemed to not be within the scope of strong mayor powers
It was
by our solicitor.
It was, and it was removed from the website. But the mayor had sent me an email. And he had indicated that in there that Directive 7 was included in being sent. So I just want to clarify, if I am sending it, I can send it. If not, I can send Decision 1 if that's council's wishes.
Yeah, I don't feel like we need to spend the extra expense getting a directive that's already been deemed to not be under the scope of mayor powers by our solicitor to another solicitor. Like, this is where we're gonna end up wasting a lot of money. But I do think that Decision 1 needs to go somewhere.
Okay. Questions?
That's my opinion.
Questions? So, as I'm sure everyone has read the Municipal Act of 2001. We're all up to date on that. So, and this is in regards to decision number 1, as far as the organizational structure. Okay. I think Tammy has sent everyone a copy of that. Okay. So in section 225, under the roles of the head of council, it clearly states, it is the role of the head of council to act as chief executive officer of the municipality. So in that, the CEO has administrative and legislative roles. The head of council has the legislative roles and the CEO has the administrative roles. Now, if anybody has their phone right now, let's go to the Municipal Act of 2001. I don't want to waste any money on what I put on the paper, but I just want to ensure that everyone has an understanding of what the Municipal Act says. So if anyone has a phone, flip up the Municipal Act 2001 under section 225.
May I make a comment, Mr. Mayor?
Mhm.
It does say that the mayor acts as the CEO. And it goes on then to say for 4 specific purposes.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, the 4
I just
specific
printed it
purposes
off.
in the act.
I just printed it off before I came.
Okay, so you can read out the 4 specific
It
purposes.
does not say that in here. It says A, B, and C of the role.
The role, section 225. The role of head of council is the role of head of council to act as the CEO of the municipality, to preside over council meetings so that its business can be carried out efficiently and effectively, to provide leadership to the council without limiting clause C, to provide information and recommendations to council with respect to the role of council described in clause 224D and D1, to represent the municipality at official functions and to carry out the duties of the council under this or any other act.
Can you talk, Tammy, about the 4 roles where the mayor acts as the CEO?
Head of council as the chief executive officer, uphold and promote the purposes of the municipality, promote public involvement in the municipality's activities, act as the representative of the municipality, both within and outside the municipality, and promote the municipality locally, nationally, and internationally, and participate and foster activities that enhance the economic, social, and environmental well-being of the municipality and its residents.
Can you then answer, Mr. Mayor, does that say in there that you are responsible for the administration?
Specifically,
Yes.
you would have to accumulate that,
What we've
but it doesn't
learned.
say it in black and white. It does not say it in black and
It
white.
doesn't say it in black and white, and what we've learned from our 2 legal opinions is that when drafting legislation, they say what they mean.
Yeah.
So you
So-
have to rely on the words, and
So
if
what-
they're not there.
So under the frame of what is the role of council, which is purely legislative.
The role of council is to represent the public and to consider the well-being and interest of the municipality, to develop and evaluate the policies and programs of the municipality, to determine which services the municipality provides, to ensure that administrative policies, practices, and procedures and controllership policies, practices, and procedures are in place to implement the decisions of council, to ensure the accountability and transparency of the operations of the municipality, including the activities of senior management of the municipality, to maintain the financial integrity of the municipality, and to carry out the duties of council under this or any other act.
Right. So in our training at the beginning, and then in subsequent training, and then in legal opinions, we've heard it said many times by the experts and the people who know more than us that, or know more than me anyway, that the role of mayor playing the CEO or acting as the CEO is just for those 4 specific purposes. And it's a figurehead kind of position. And in fact, the Chief Justice, I said his name last time, said that I can't remember his exact words, but suggested that the province shouldn't be using that wording because it's misleading, because it's not the CEO.
The whole thing is misleading, Bill. The whole thing. So,
I get it.
and
So that when we want that to go to for another opinion, when we're referring that to the lawyer, it's because what you're saying, differs from what the expert advice is.
I'm all going by what it actually says in municipal act, and there was nothing about the 4 priorities in this section.
It's right below.
What?
The parts where it says what the 4 places that or what the 4 actions of a mayor and CEO can do are right there in the act.
So the section 226.1? And those are the 4 priorities, roads and bridges and
No.
infrastructure?
No, not, we're not talking strong mayor. We're talking what
This,
it means for this mayor to act as the CEO, not to
So-
be the CEO, but. to
so
act
we're
as
all
the
going to
CEO.
have really good questions to ask on Monday night.
We are absolutely.
I look forward to that because it needs to be clarified.
Yeah.
Because this is enough.
Yeah.
We need to get this clarified.
Absolutely, we do. I think it's already been clarified, but we have another opportunity on Monday or
But this
whatever day it is.
Monday is the law.
Yeah.
Whatever they're going to say.
That's right. Yes.
So I
Okay.
do have. Moved by Carl Peel, second by Maureen McMillan, whereas council has received mayoral decision 1 issued under the authority of the strong mayor powers. And whereas council wishes to ensure that the mayoral decision 1 is valid and compliant with applicable legislation. Now therefore be it resolved that council directs staff to refer mayoral decision 1 to Aird & Burles LLP for an independent legal review of its validity. And that staff provide council with the findings and recommendations arising from Aird & Burles LLP review as soon as practicable.
Questions, discussion? All those in favor? My paper clip got stuck. I'm sorry.
Can I make a follow-up comment?
Sure.
Yeah. The part that really sticks with me about the org chart was that you have council reporting to the mayor. And I think that goes against everything we've learned. You're one of 7 councillors at the table, and we all have an equal say.
Yeah, I think that was referring to was the legislative part, Bill. Where are we? What is the status of the ministerial review? Okay, I've submitted mine. Have you guys submitted yours?
Assuming.
You had said you were going to submit a minister.
We did by resolution already, and
Okay, but
I
did
followed
you-
up with an email and I still have not heard any.
Okay, because what you're supposed to send a brief to them, and then I'm supposed to send a brief, and then they talk about it. That's what I understood. So that you've only sent an email, you didn't send a brief?
I sent the resolution as council directed. Council didn't direct me to submit a ministerial review. They directed me to submit the resolution to MMAH asking for a ministerial review.
Okay, I've submitted my brief, so just so you know, because I thought we were in that process. Okay. AMO delegation status of request. Have you submitted?
The request was submitted today, yes.
And was the format changed at all?
According to the form, yes, I did do a brief summary and I have to give some background information.
I'd just like to pass on a copy of one of the ones that the county of Renfrew did, just for example, if you want to keep that on file. Okay, new business, or is there any other unfinished business? New business. A letter from the Killaloe Area Lions Club. Everybody looked it over? Do we need a resolution?
No, that's already part of the budget.
It's part of the budget, so everyone's okay still? Tammy, you're up.
Okay, so I'm presenting council with the Integrity Commissioner's report arising from a code of conduct complaint against Mayor Mayville concerning directives 2 through 6, which the used under strong mayor powers granted under Part 6.1 of the Municipal Act. The complaint summary is provided on page 2 with the findings and analysis outlined on pages 2 to 13, and the conclusion and recommendations presented on page 13. The Integrity Commissioner finds that the directives are not authorized by the strong mayor powers or the Municipal Act generally and have breached sections of the Code of Conduct. The Integrity Commissioner recommends that council direct the mayor to obtain training on strong mayor powers from a provider approved by council. And in accordance with the Code of Conduct policy, the report will be published on the township's website tomorrow morning.
Questions?
So, council gets to, the recommendation is that council gets to, decide if and when and how to send you for training on strong mayor powers. I'd suggest that we, reserve our decision on that until after we've received the training that we're getting next week, but that we still have to have that as a discussion.
And council and mayor are involved in that also, right? For training? It's not just the staff, it's council and mayor receive training also
Where
on Monday?
on Monday, it's council and staff.
Yeah, okay.
Have you received any training so far on strong mayor power, Mr. Mayor?
Just basically over the internet on their clinics. Yeah. So I do have a statement in regards to the Integrity Commissioner's final report. I would like to provide a formal response to the Integrity Commissioner's final report dated November 5th, 2025. I thank the Commissioner for completing his work. However, it is necessary for me to place several important matters on the public record. First, the Municipal Act is very clear about the role of an Integrity Commissioner under sections 223.2 and 223.8. An Integrity Commissioner is authorized to apply the Township's Code of Conduct to the conduct of members of council. The IC may determine whether behavior violates the code. What the IC may not do, and what the report repeatedly does, is interpret provincial legislation, assesses the legality of strong mayor directives, or determine the distribution of powers under Part 6.1 of the Municipal Act. Those are matters reserved for the legislator, for the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, and for the courts. In multiple places, the report declares that the mayor did not have the legal authority to issue certain directives. With respect, making legal rulings on the validity of strong mayor actions is simply not within the IC's jurisdiction. A difference of legal interpretation between the IC and the mayor is not, in itself, a code of conduct breach. Second, the report relies heavily on the township's procedural bylaw 16-2023. That bylaw was passed 2 years before strong mayor legislation took effect here on May 1st, 2025. It contains no reference to Part 6.1 of the Municipal Act or OREG 530-22. It has never been updated to reflect the new statutory framework. When a local bylaw conflicts with provincial law, it is the provincial law, including any based mayoral directives, that prevails. The IC's legal conclusions were therefore built on a procedural bylaw that is simply out of date. Third, the report substitutes the IC's personal interpretation of strong mayor legislation for the province's. It characterizes certain directives as unauthorized or illegal. It assigns motives to the directives that have no basis in the legislation and were never part of the complaint. These conclusions extend far beyond a code of conduct review and into areas where the IC has no statutory authority. I want to be very clear on this point. Only the province or the courts can determine the legal scope of a strong mayor directive, not an Integrity Commissioner or council. My intention in issuing these directives was exactly what I stated during the investigation: to align our governance practices with provincial law, to provide clarity for administration, and to ensure that our processes meet the standards of transparency and accountability required by the Municipal Act. The IC himself acknowledges in the report that strong mayor powers are new and that misrepresentation is expected as municipalities learn how to implement them. Despite that, the report treats legally disagreement as misconduct, which is not consistent with the Act. Fourth, the situation underscores the urgent need to update our procedural bylaw so that it accurately reflects provincial legislation in force today. Relying on a 2023 pre-strong mayor bylaw continues to create confusion for our staff, for council, for the public, and now for our accountability officers. That's my comments.
So this will be on our website tomorrow morning. Please read it. Like, if you can see why we're exhausted, this is why. Like, read it. You know, this is our third opinion, all stating the same thing. Like, please.
Even our integrity commissioner doesn't know anything. More can we still?
Okay, now we're moving on to the Aqua water system.
Staff is still working on the questions.
Okay, so after the last, our last meeting, I sent Tammy 10 questions in regards to the Aqua report. I think yes, I did. I sent everyone the 10 questions. So staff is still working on them. And hopefully we can have answers soon. Christmas holiday schedule.
So as per the direction of council, I went back and I talked to staff, and staff are proposing to close the municipal office and the public works department, weather permitting, of course, December 29th to January the 2nd, and reopening on January 5th. So staff would use their bank time or vacation for the 29th, and then the rest is provided by council. And I did consult wayside attendants, and they are seeking approval for the following dates off during the Christmas holidays. So December 27th, the 28th, and the 31st, and use a bank day or vacation day for Friday, January the 2nd.
Any comments from anyone? So the municipal office will be closed from the 24th. Did I hear that right?
No, so the 25th,
So you're open the 24th.
correct.
So Christmas Day, and then you'll reopen on Monday, January 5. Okay. Good. Everyone okay with that?
Is everybody okay with the wayside?
You want to comment on the pothole grant? So we received an application to apply for a pothole prevention and repair program. And I believe it's $25,000 to $50,000 worth,
Up to 38,000,
up to 38,000. So just to let you know, we are applying for it, right?
correct.
Yeah.
Falling to or
Yeah.
fall into guidelines. Dean and Colton are working on it.
We could fall into some of our pothole.
On the end of your street?
No, they got fixed.
Okay, the next one is the HR review. So over the past 3 years, I have proposed several times that we bring in the County of Renfrew to conduct a human resource review of our staff, job descriptions, and pay scales. Council has chosen not to move ahead with this work at those times, and I respect those decisions. Recently, the county completed a similar review for its own organization, and it proved to be highly beneficial for employees and for long-term planning. It is my view that a municipality should conduct this kind of review in the 3rd year of every council term, so that job descriptions and wage grids remain accurate and up to date. The purpose of this review has always been clear: to ensure our staff are working with current job descriptions, fair and competitive compensation, and an organization structure that reflects the work they actually do. This is about taking care of our employees and treating them fairly. This review would include all employees of the corporation, including the mayor and councillors, for comparative information. A professional HR review would help us confirm that duties and responsibilities are clearly and accurately defined, ensure our wage grid is fair, consistent, and aligned with comparable municipalities, provide clarity and consistency for both staff and council, strengthen planning and budgeting with reliable, modern information. This information is particularly important as we begin preparing for the 2026 budget. Accurate job descriptions and wage scales are essential for responsible budgeting, long-term planning, and ensuring that resources are allocated appropriately. I also want to acknowledge the CEO's ongoing workload, which she has expressed many times. A third-party review is exactly the kind of support that can help. It removes the burden from internal staff, ensures neutrality, and provides professional recommendations without adding to the CEO's responsibilities. To avoid adding pressure on staff or the budget, the review would be carried out by the county's HR specialist with the cost allocated across departments within their existing wage accounts. So in other words, we've already budgeted. There is money in each line. Given the importance of accuracy, fairness, organizational clarity, and strong budget preparation, I genuinely value council's input and hope council will support moving forward with this plan. At the same time, because this work relates directly to the administrative functioning of the township, I may need to proceed with the HR review within my administrative role. My strong preference, however, is to do so with council's understanding and support, particularly in recognizing the importance and value of treating our staff with the respect they deserve. So, and the price breakdown is $13,440, and that'll get split up within everyone's department. Next item, municipal office air conditioner resolution.
Moved by Harold Levine, second by Ted Brown, whereas the existing air conditioner unit at the municipal office has failed, must be replaced, and whereas the township of Killarney, Haggerty, and Richards facilities asset manager has reviewed the situation and recommends replacing the system with a heat pump. And whereas Welk Electric, based in Barry's Bay, Ontario, has provided a cost estimate of $11,770 plus HST for their services. Now therefore be it resolved that Council of the Township of Killarney, Haggerty, and Richards approves the removal of the existing air conditioner at the municipal office and the installation of a heat pump system to be completed by Welk Electric and at an estimated cost of $11,770 plus HST, and further approves that this project be undertaken this year and included within the 2025 budget.
Questions, concerns? All those in favor? Carried.
I have a question about the HR review. Kind of, you made one of your statements and you said you want council to, you hope that council will approve this, but if not, you suggested you might just go ahead with
And I don't want to do that.
something that, right, but then we didn't discuss
No.
it. So are we gonna wait another 2 weeks and then you're gonna bring something forward to us?
No.
Are you gonna just not ask us and then go ahead with the strong mayor power, which I don't think you have the authority to do, or
Thanks.
what was your plan?
Thanks for bringing that up. I missed that point. So, any questions or concerns about the HR review?
Why do you want us to state any of our make statements to you because you're gonna go ahead and do it anyway? You just already said that
I don't want
2
to.
minutes ago.
I don't want to. I
Okay,
said,
don't. You know.
but I would like to do it with the support. I think it's badly needed for our employees.
Well, it's nice to hear your opinion, Mr. Mayor.
I do not think so.
That's not my opinion.
You think all your employees are taken care of well?
You think because it's your opinion that you're gonna go ahead and do it? Is that what you said?
I don't want to. But if worst case scenario, yeah.
But you will go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Just because it's your opinion and you feel your opinion is right.
So, Carol, any questions?
So why should we make any comment?
So I think we've already discussed this at great length.
We have,
Tammy is working on it. She knows the staff. It's getting done. I would rather see this be done in-house and spend an extra $13,000. When I look at all the money we've spent on the integrity commissioner, on lawyers, it just seems obscene when it's something that can be done in-house and that we had discussed about being done in-house would be farmed out. So we all care about our employees. We know this is an issue, but we also know that this is going to be dealt with in-house, so we don't have to spend this kind of money. So this money can stay here and help our community. So, and this does not fall under your strong mayor power framework, by the way.
I would agree with almost everything you said. The fact is that we can't keep putting these kind of projects on Tammy because she doesn't have enough time in the day. She just,
Let Tammy speak for Tammy. She has spoken for herself before.
So previously, council has discussed this time and time again, and I've asked council to, because there are organizational changes that are happening, and I've asked council to wait until those organizational changes have taken place before a outside consulting firm is sought for to be able to come in. Council did not turn down the idea of bringing an outside consulting firm in to take a look at the whole organization as a whole. However, we still have people that are going to be moving around and they're not in their designated spots as of yet. So council had decided to put that off until everybody was in their place and then bring it up for discussion again.
Continue to be in support of having that review done, but at the appropriate time. And it's really unfortunate that it's taken longer than we thought it would when we started this process, because we had challenges in hiring some of our new positions for some other reasons. But I'm in support of doing it at the right time when Tammy has completed her process.
I think, just a comment, Bill. I think we know. I don't want to go down the path of when the library went, what do they call that? That review? Pay equity review. And I think, with all due respect, Councillor Bukowski, I don't want to see us get killed. And I can think of 2, maybe 3 positions that we are going to get beat up. And especially having gone through this with the county over the last month, should I say a lot less killed now as opposed to more killed later, if that is even a phrase, but I'm sure it's not, Bill. So I really think that I agree there are positions changing, but I think it's something that I would really like to build this into the budget for this year, because the impact could be pretty significant. And I'm afraid of that.
What do you mean by build this into the budget for this year?
When they do their review and come along with recommendations, the recommendations would be just like pay equity.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to.
Okay.
You understand that, right? I don't want to see us get really hammered. I'd rather not cut your losses, but not pay as much as we're going to, because this could be a big dollar impact. So that's why I'm trying to get this done as soon as possible and before we go into the budget process. That's all. I appreciate the fact that we have positions changing, but these aren't people that will overlook that. And I think the positions that are changing, their job descriptions have already been sent to HR, if I'm not mistaken. Right, Tammy?
Some of them.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
Not all. So the case I'm making, and like I said, I hopefully I have everyone's support.
It doesn't sound like you do. I think there's support for doing it. Council has expressed support for redoing it or doing it at
So,
the appropriate time, but not until.
so not until you're saying you don't want to do it for this upcoming budget, 2026 budget.
I did not say that at all. When Tammy can finish what she's doing, like our budget may not be passed until May. So, which is another 6 months from now.
Mhm.
This process, this could feed that process easily by then. If we do it in proper order. I don't want to wait another year. You don't want to wait another year. The employees don't want to wait.
I just,
another year.
that was going to be my next question, Bill. Can our employees wait for another year?
I don't want it to.
I feel really sorry for our employees right now. Like really sorry.
I do for many reasons.
So, okay. So we're going to committee tonight, right? And we're going to have a confirming bylaw.
Moved by Carl Keel, second by Bill Smith, that bylaw number 46, 2025, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council of the Township of Killaloe, Haggerty, and Richards at its regular meeting held on November 18th, 2025, be given its first, second, and third reading and finally passed this 18th day of November, 2025.
All those in favor? Carried. Motion for adjournment.
Oh,
Moved by Bill Smith, and by Ted Brown, motion to adjourn the regular council meeting of November 18th, 2025 for the Township of Killaloe, Haggerty, and Richards.
All those in favor? Carried.
we're, holy heaven.
I'd like to get that. I'd like